As far as my day starting there, I took the train into the city, went up to my office on the 74th floor of the second tower. Really had barely just gotten to my desk when the first plane hit. So we felt the explosion, saw the fireballs, and immediately started heading down. Not because we thought we were in danger, but just because we knew that from 93, the folks that were there, that smoke had gotten up high enough, and that we were probably going to be asked to evacuate anyway. Because we weren't in danger, we took the elevators. The elevators in those buildings, not all of them went to the top floor. So they would go part of the way up the building, and then you'd switch elevators and take it the rest of the way. So we took it down about midway. And then when we got off to switch elevators, there was enough commotion with people arriving and some folks leaving that we decided just to take the stairs at that point. It wasn't that big a deal. And I got out just a few minutes before the second plane hit. It's hard to recall exactly how long. And while standing outside, we could see the people jumping. We could hear it. You could hear them landing. And there was a woman who I did not know standing next to me. She started crying, and I just put my arm around her to console her when we heard the noise of the second plane coming. And people looked to the left, screamed around to the right. And when they did so, they knocked me on top of her. So my body was on top of hers, and they ran on top of both of us. So we'd been kicked, and some folks had fallen on top of us and scratched my fingernails and things like that. And then it got a little bit quiet because now we were just the last two people sort of being there. I helped her get up. I was a little dizzy, and she started running. The street had a lot of shoes in them because people either stepped out of them or someone stepped on their heel or whatever. I had been knocked down and my shoes were knocked off. So it could happen to anybody, but mine weren't that far away, so I was able to retrieve them quickly. My briefcase had gotten pushed away a little bit, and I got that. And then I just started walking away. It wasn't in a hurry or anything. There was a lot of dust and debris in the air. I knew that, obviously the folks in charge needed to get in and take care of things, and fire department and police and that type of thing. So I wasn't going to get in their way. At least that's what I'd like to think my presence of mind was. So I started walking north in Manhattan. Nothing really made sense. I didn't know what had happened. You might see a plane, but it doesn't make sense that a plane would do that. So it doesn't really register. As I was walking, there was a piece of the plane engine in the street, which again didn't quite register. And years later, I began to think I'd even imagined that until I saw a debris field map, and it showed the piece that I had seen. So I walked up to the 38th Street pier where I knew that the Midtown ferry was, and the line was several blocks away. So I found the end of that and waited for a few hours to get on the ferry. As we crossed Manhattan, they said that if you were south of Canal Street, they wanted you to get off first. And when we did, they directed us towards the right-hand side while everybody else walked to the left. As you turn the corner, the fire department was there, and EMTs and nurses and what have you. And the fire department hosed you down with their fire hoses to get asbestos and other contaminants off of you. I wasn't one of those people you see in the pictures who was covered head to toe because of when I walked away, but I still had quite a bit. After that, then they gave you a bed sheet to dry yourself, a bottle of water, place to sit down for a minute, and they came by and checked on you to see if you needed any medical assistance or something else. It was already a long day. It was already early evening. So I started just to walk home. Took me 45 minutes to an hour, I imagine. And that was my day. I probably got home like around 6 or 6:30 in the evening and tried to make sense of what had happened. When I was walking north, there were some people huddled around cars with radios on. And that's when I heard about the Pentagon. But again, people didn't know what was going on. They were just making their own guesses. But I'd say by the next morning, I had a grasp of what had happened, didn't know what my next steps would be. For me, the biggest takeaway and the biggest lesson has been about resilience, and on a very personal level, because it was so difficult for me, but I made a lot of mistakes in how to do it. I disengaged from society and isolated myself, and refused to talk about it. And that was absolutely the wrong direction to go. You've got to keep routines, and you've got to talk about it, or PTSD will be even worse than it would normally. So now, if I've got someone going through something even remotely similar where they're struggling, I'm reaching out because I know what is important there and what they need to do is, have someone there to just say, okay, even if they don't respond, just to keep doing it.